This is a deal I made years ago. I've got a pump stuck in the bottom, 110 volt with a float on it, and then just ran it up, run it out. Had this deal on it a minute ago, but it restricts it pretty good. It does blow it out there a lot further, but it restricts it. So I guess we'll see. We're pretty deep. I had to cut a hole in the ice with a chainsaw, running it on the generator. So I don't know. We got a lot of geese in the area. If a guy could get a pond open, the first one to get a pond open is going to have lots of geese. It's probably not going to do anything, but I got to try, right? It's below freezing tonight, like 31. And then after that, we've got 5 or 6 days of 40s and mid 30s for lows. So anyway, we'll run a tank through the generator and just see what happens. It's the next morning, about 9 o'clock. I've already filled the generator with fuel. I put that spout on this morning, try to get that out a little farther. Like I said, this stuff's, you know, at least 5 inches thick. So you can see it's getting there. It ain't much of a hole yet, but now that I'm spraying it out this morning, I come down about 6 o'clock. It had this small, right in there probably, because I was just blowing it out and circulating it. So now, like I said, I put that tip on, I'm blowing it out a little farther. I don't know if that's all actually open or if that's on top of the ice. It looks like it's on top of the ice right here, but that looks like it's open. If you can get the waves hitting that ice, get some sun, it'll help. I don't know. I'll run a tank through it today. It was almost empty this morning. About 6 o'clock, that would have been roughly 14 hours. And it wasn't empty, but it was close. So it's definitely burning some fuel. Yesterday I showed you guys this deal, but I didn't show you what this is perforated. So it's perforated. Yeah, you can't see in there. But anyway, I don't even know. I bought that at an auction like I do everything else somewhere. Like I said, it's perforated and thing's coming on. Had that hose clamped up there, not that I needed it. So it lets water in but not the trash in. Works really good for what this is. Alright, I'll keep you in touch, let you know how this is or isn't working. Well, it's a couple hours later, and I directed it over there and got that kind of opened up. Now I've turned it, pointed it this way. See if I can get some of this opened up. If a guy can get it opened up where the breeze will hit it, it will open up quicker this way. But I don't know. I've got a buddy that may have told you it's got an ice eater. He's talking about bringing it up. I could put a 3-inch pump, trash pump, and blow it up there. I don't know. Depends on, I guess, how much time and money you want to put into this deal. Kind of just goofing at the moment. Well, that's how big the hole is now. It's about 11, so 2 hours, I guess, since I showed you last time. Well, it's about an hour later, and I was goofing with adjusting this and dropped my fitting down in the pond. So I went up and found another 2-inch and a cap, and then drilled 3 5/8 holes in it. Kind of like how that's spraying out better. It's definitely getting water out, a bigger volume of water out further. So I think this is the ticket at the moment. We'll let this run a while and let's see what happens. Well, it's now 2 o'clock. I just turned it that way again. Got it open clear up to almost the dock. I was hoping to open it up there so that I could set my generator on the dock and put my pump in there and maybe get some more of this open. So I may let it run there, and then maybe right before dark I'll move it back over here and then let it run all night. But we're gaining. I got a guy, well, it's Doug's son. He's coming in Thursday night, and he would like to hunt Friday. It's going to be pretty nasty, rain, but maybe we can get him on some birds Saturday. Well, I got tired of goofing around. Still got this running. I'm probably going to break the ears off my hose doing that. I'll probably have to fasten it up. It's starting to gouge into the ice there already. I don't want to break those ears off. Alright, we'll bring you back. I thought I was doing pretty good, but I put that hose straight down, which was blowing a bunch of bubbles up. Well, it brought a big chunk of ice back up. So I must have covered it with water, and then it sank. And then I forced it back up. So, yeah, I'm not doing as good as I thought. It's 4 o'clock now. Don't know. Maybe a totally lost cause. I've got 3 days. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We wanted to hunt on, I think, Saturday morning. We got a good wind to set up on that island. If I can keep gas in them, it's about to break me already. Stuff ain't free. I don't know. I guess I'll fill this one in a little bit again. I don't know how long it'll run, but it doesn't run very long. I'm guessing 3 or 4 hours. That's the one off our pump at the house to move water to the sprayer. It moves a lot more than this one, obviously. Trying to get some water moved back across this, see if we can melt it. Anyway, kind of a loss. Supposed to warm up the next 3 days. If I could get the weather in my favor, that would be better. And we're supposed to get a 1/4 inch of rain tonight. That might help a little. It's going to be above freezing. I don't know. This kid only gets to hunt once. He's lucky twice a year, so I'd like to do what I can do to see that he gets to hunt with his dad. He's a few years younger than I am. 4, I think. Alright, I'll bring you back in the morning. It is Wednesday morning. I didn't run it last night. I shut it off about 6 o'clock. Kind of had mixed feelings about running it when it was colder at night, how much good I was doing. Oh yeah, and gas is nice and cheap. Let's go Biden. Anyway, just started it back up. I'll run a little bit today and see how it gets along. I'm thinking about running a cord from the house clear down to this one and just let it run 24 all the time, not worrying about fuel or filling it, but I don't know, I haven't decided yet. Anyway, I'm just going to show you the hole we had. This little piece of ice here floated back off that side last night. It's moving now again. So I guess we'll see. If we can get twice this size of hole out in front of this island, we'd be golden. See what happens. Well, I made another adjustment. So anyway, try to get some waves. Waves are the key. Waves in warmer water, of course. It's about 11 o'clock. I didn't run them last night. Buddy brought a 3-inch down. I put a fire nozzle on this one. we can get it open from that hole over there to this one, I think we'll be alright. Just gas money. Okay, it's January 24th at 1 o'clock. So what is that, Wednesday? And I just fired this one back up. I'm getting some chunks floating off of the main stream over into this pocket, so I'm going to see if I can circulate them a little with that small one. Zoom you in. The 3-inch is still flopping around. It's about got a hole back to this hole, right where it's at right there. There's a little bit of edge, but it's starting to melt on that direction, shoving water under the ice, so it's melting from the bottom up. And then the fire hose is blowing some ice up on top, which I don't like, but it's open water. And I'm just working it around this way so that it blows a good hole and starts pushing it up, and I move it just a little bit. So anyway, we've got a decent hole. While we were here, there was some big Canadas tried to land. Well, they looked, I wouldn't say tried to land, but, and had a bunch of ducks looking real hard. So yep, supposed to be almost 50 tomorrow. We can get pretty good jag opened here. I think we will be set for Friday and or Saturday. So I hope it works out. A lot of effort into it if it doesn't. Anyway, Doug just left a few minutes ago, maybe an hour ago now, and I'm babysitting. Seems like every time I go to the house or go to the shop, one of them moves or gets a hole blown, and then I need to move it again. So kind of just babysitting. Keeping them full of gas. That one over there does not run very long on that tank. It's not a real big tank. This one's got a little bigger tank. I think it'll run about 4 hours, give or take. Alright, I don't know if you guys have seen enough ice melting or not, but it's kind of like watching paint dry. Later, guys. Okay, it's 3 o'clock, same day. We've got some floating ice there that's broke off. Hopefully we'll get it melted tomorrow. That one's up on the bank. We got some geysers. We let that flip around on the ice, as you saw, and I figured it would cut it. Yeah, it did a pretty good number on it. So anyway, I've shoved it up against the bank where it won't move, blowing it out across there. Maybe we'll get another hole opened over there. Can we get this ice right here out? I'm not worried about that. But we get this floating ice right here, get it, all this stuff melted that's floating, and we got a pretty decent hole. I've had geese trying to land in here all day. Alright, I don't know, I might bring you back tomorrow. We'll see. If it's warm and I'm doing some good, I'll run them. If not, then we'll probably call this good. Morning, guys. It's Tuesday, January 30th. I don't know, I had tried to thaw the water down here at the pond. Paul come in, we shot 2 Canadas and I think 6 ducks. It wasn't great, but we did get out. Saw tens of thousands of ducks over on the river, and then saw thousands here, but they're high flying and conditions were not perfect. Got geese moving now. Here, put your room. So it's been terribly wet, muddy here, and my boy hauled. I took his truck, my brother took his truck, and Brent took his semi. We hauled 50 ton of road gravel in. Road gravel's not ideal. This driveway was absolutely terrible. We haven't added material on this driveway in, I don't know, 15 years. We had it in really good shape, and then the way the weather's been, it's just it's been pretty tough on it. So anyway, we hauled 50 ton of road gravel, and I'll take you out here quick, show you the project we're on at the moment. All right, zoom you out. So on the last load of road gravel that my son hauled with this semi here, this is a DD15 Detroit, and I didn't think the truck sounded right. Well, he said he thought it backfired a time or two, and he could also hear what he considered as a knock. So he came out a couple days ago. It was still brutally cold, but he came out and pulled the valve cover off. And so what we've got is we found a bunch of, zoom in here. So we went to run the overhead on it, and Brent and I found, let's see, we got, darn it, let me zoom you out. Of course, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 was so far out that we ran out of adjustment. The nut that goes on the lock nut, it wouldn't it wouldn't grab any threads. So we ran into a pretty good dilemma there. And I did a bunch of research. I did get 6 adjusted. The intake side looks really good. So I fought it. Looked on the internet for, I don't know, 2 days, I guess. Called a bunch of buddies. They said, no, you're doing everything right. They couldn't either that would be an issue. Well, I got spooked yesterday and got to thinking, well, we've got a bent valve. So called another buddy. He's pretty sharp on diesel stuff. He said, I'll be there in about 10 minutes. He doesn't live far. So he showed up. Well, in the meantime, I got to looking, and I'd asked Brent if there was any chance that the whole rack itself was loose. Well, he came out. I don't know. He checked the front bolt, which is this bolt here, and they're countersunk down in that shaft. Well, that holds the whole rack on the engine. And so I got to looking, as like I said, I was visiting with a buddy, and I noticed that this bolt was above the shaft, just like that bolt. So we got a wrench, and they were loose. So Brent and I went up yesterday to Freightliner, and they did not have the bolts in. So we went over to the Detroit shop. They didn't have them in, but they'd have them this morning. So anyway, we got to run up and get new bolts, because these are torque to yield. You torque them to 40 pounds and then 90 degrees. So anyway, we're going to run up and get them bolts. We got one nut. We'll replace that one. And these are your jakes, guys. Let me zoom you in one more time here. So you got 3. You've got 2 exhaust valves, and this is your jake right here. So we'll need to adjust the jake. 2 exhaust valves, dual overhead cam. So these are your intake valves on this side, exhaust on that side. All right, we're going to run up and get them bolts there in, and we're going to get this thing put back together.
We're adjusting the valves. So, needless to say, we just assumed that the bolts were loose. We'd put new ones in there since they're torqued to stretch. And we went to put the new one in, and there was no threads there. So we pulled the other ones out and got to looking, and almost every one of them's got the threads pulled on them. Then we're taking this last one out, we see even a bigger problem. You couldn't see that crack when it was seated down in there. But as soon as we pulled the bolt, it's broken half, the whole rack. So I don't know if, yeah, we did get a valve into the top of a piston and shove up so hard and it pulled threads and broke that, but you wouldn't have thought it would have broke that. So I guess we'll just wait and see and pull that out and see what kind of disaster we got. Stay tuned.
Hey, grease the fifth wheel. And we'll flip it around. Use the steel end. Guys use grease guns. That ain't so good. Done deal. Well, I decided to bring my truck over to the rock quarry. It's my second load, trying to help Brent get caught up. I'm pulling his trailer with my truck. And we don't know what all we're going to do on that other one. Broken rocker arm shaft. Stripped out cam bearing carriers. So, looks like we can buy used parts for about $1,100-$1,200, give or take. I don't know. Stressful day, but I'm trying to get him some rock hauled, so maybe he's not too big a bind. Later, guys. I just got back to the house with the second load, and grossing 84,780. Perfect on that load. Could have held just a hair more, but wasn't terrible. We got the other load dumped right there. Right here, strung it. He's got two of his small ones dumped there. I'll dump this one beside it when I gets here. And then, yeah, he hauled about 80 ton today after we worked on his truck. So, anyway, you guys got any suggestions on that DD15? I think we're just going to throw some used parts at it. I don't know. I hate to put a lot of money in it. Well, it's his money, his truck. But well, Freightliner just keeps getting it done. I don't know. It's got a little noise in the engine, and I don't know if it's injector or if it is worn rod bearings. I think if it was worn rod bearings, it would have already turned loose. Holds good oil pressure. Doesn't burn any oil. No blow by. But it's got that damn MBE 4000 Mercedes diesel, which they say is the same thing as the Detroit. Alright guys, I'll probably throw something on there and let you know how we're getting along. Later.